This one's a JVC XL-M307. This is a dual type CD player. It takes a single disc as well as it takes a 6-disc magazine. And the complaint is it will not load through the single disc tray. So likely a belt. Let's check it out and see what the problem is. This is a JVC XL-M307. And the complaint on this one is the single drawer doesn't open, and then it does. There, it's jamming. Won't load a disc. Okay, yeah, there's very, very little torque, so it's gonna be a belt. And it probably also affects the magazine, although the owner of this doesn't have a magazine for it. He just uses it as a single disc player. The magazine is not the issue. The issue is the single disc is not opening properly, and it looks like it's probably a belt that's slipping. So let's get started. Okay, this one uses the tray type of mechanism where the trays actually slide out. Definitely hear a belt slipping on this unit. Oh, what is this? Something that's loose in the bottom here. What is this thing? I guess we'll have to pull the mechanism out to see what's happening below the chassis. The fact these screws are loose tells me somebody's been into this thing before. There's tape on top of this connector, like the connector is broken. Ah, somebody's broken this connector in the past. That's what's happened on this. You can see it right here. That connector is damaged. Somebody's had this thing apart. What I'm curious is what that plastic piece is that's sitting in the bottom. What is this piece that's come off of something? Is it off the mechanism? Interesting. If I take off the front cover on the front bezel, I may get a little better access to this thing. I tell you, I had to waste half my day today. I had to go get fish food for my saltwater aquarium, and none of the local places carry it anymore. And when I asked the local places why they no longer carry any fish food for marine fish, I was told this is a couple of years ago that they're not allowed to sell the fish, due to some ban on selling wild caught marine fish in our local cities here, several of the local cities. So I have to go to the one place that is still permitted to sell the fish, because apparently the stores don't see any reason to carry the food for them if they can't sell the fish. You know, forgetting the fact that there's lots of people that set up aquariums years and years ago and they still have to continue to feed them. Ridiculous, huh? Anyway, 2.5 hours later to go and get some fish food. It was like drive all the way across town. Actually, drive through 3 cities to get there. 3 cities over. Had to go to Coquitlam to get it. I was curious as to where that piece that I found in the bottom was from. It was sitting out through this hole here. It was sitting down through there like that, almost like it fits into the chassis here. Maybe that hole to seat the thing. Would that be possible? That it sat, or maybe this hole here. I think maybe this hole. I think it sat in there like that, and just a base to allow this thing to rest on the bottom. I think that's where it was from. There's a belt here. This is the belt for the optical pickup. There should be another loading belt in this thing somewhere. Just gotta find it. I think it's slipping. I think that's the problem with this unit. Is loading belt is slipping. See if I can open this thing up while I've got the back cover off. So you can hear a motor spinning. Oh, there it is. There it is, right down below here. There is a belt. I can see it. Is it that the one that's slipping? I'm sure it is. Get some light in there. There's some gears that drive a large pulley and then drive this one belt, which is right underneath this piece here. I wonder if I can take this out, and then if I can get this top piece off, I will be able to access that belt. So what holds this piece on? Is it just clipped on by clips? It might just be clipped on by these clips. That's what I'm thinking. There's a clip there. There's another clip over here. Where is there screws? There's a screw here. That screw might have to come out. Okay, now that's off. You can see these wires are pulling out here again already, because the last guy that worked on this broke the stupid plug and just stuffed the wires in and stuck some tape over it. Idiot. Didn't know how to open this up. You open this up by pressing these down. I think these ones press down or they pull up. These ones pull up and they go out like that. Some bonehead tried to pry it open and snapped it. Idiot. Total idiot. I might as well pull the whole mechanism out now that it's disconnected. I can work on the mechanism out of the cabinet. Okay, this should allow this piece to lift off now, like that, and expose the belt that I need to change. I can get this out of here. Okay, there's the belt that I need to change. As you can see, it's badly slipping. So we'll take it off and run it through the gears. And now I just have to find another one. This one actually might be a good contender to boil because it's just slippery. It's not stretching like out of shape like some. I got another one here that's a little bit thinner, but it's smaller. It should give me more tension than the other one. Oh yeah, that's got a lot more tension than the other one did. So we'll try that one. Okay. So put the clip back on. There's clips at the back here that have to lock in place to hold the basket down, and then the screws just hold it in place once it's locked in. A little screwdriver that came as part of that amplifier kit's actually coming in kind of handy. Okay, now I've got to find the other piece of this one that fell out. This is the broken one here. This one here fell off. So obviously it was broken too, because it's not supposed to lift off. It's only supposed to pull up. But it fell right off. I don't know where it went. I only lifted this out of the cabinet, so I didn't go very far. We'll put the sensor wire back on here with the switch. Okay, that's what this is how this thing, that's what that peg is on the bottom. It fits through this hole, this slot, but it allows the mechanism to slide over this clip and then pull forward, and then the screws hold it in place. That's what holds this mechanism in place. So the thing slides in like this. And it goes over top of this, over top of that bracket at the back, and then pulls forward. And that's what holds this thing in place. Interesting. Now, I think it was these gold screws, if I'm not mistaken, that holds this in place, this chassis. This was into by somebody before, so they may have had the wrong screws. And I'm just looking at the wear marks here. It looks to be bigger marks. So I think the gold color screws actually are the ones that hold the chassis in place. Even though when I took it apart, these were in the back. Pretty sure that's where they go. Okay, let's get this flex cable, or these multi-conductor cables reconnected here. As you can see, that one's damaged, but that should make a connection. These are basically just friction fit anyway, and all the back piece did was lock it in place so that the wires couldn't get easily pulled out. I'll have to look for it, but we'll stick that in there for now. It'll still make a connection so I can test this thing. And then finally, the last one. Okay, let's see if this thing works. It's a good sign. Let's see if it will play a CD. It's not playing. I think this connector here is not seated properly. I'm just going to reseat this one. One wire doesn't look like it's seated right. This one here, bent. I don't really like these type of connectors. I think they are a source of problems, ongoing problems. These things. Okay. Let's try that now and see if it'll spin. There we go. That's a little better. Turn on my sound. And which input are we on here? That one, I think. Oh, nope. Might help if I plug it into the right input from the amplifier. That was the line out that I was plugged into. There we go. Okay, it's working. This connector is fine. Okay, that about does it on this one. One last thing I should mention on this is that it's not actually necessary to take apart the entire mechanism like I did to change the belt. All you need to do is remove the front cover, remove this screw here, and the two screws down through the side here that hold the top on the changer. It can then be slipped off without removing this whole mechanism to change the belt and put back on. The reason that I took the mechanism out was because of this plastic piece, that support that holds the mechanism in place. That had come out, so the mechanism wasn't being supported. So that's the reason I took the mechanism out, and it lets you see the whole mechanism. But if you're changing the belt on one of these, you don't need to do that. You can do it from just removing that screw and the two screws in the front here that hold down the mechanism. You do have to take the bezel off, or the front face off, to do that. Once you've got the front face off, you can remove those screws, lift the mechanism out, just lay it back, change the belt, put the mechanism back, just like before. No different, other than it does not have to come out of the chassis. Anyway, I figured I would clear that up because somebody else is probably going to come on the comments and say that you don't have to. The reason I took it apart was because of that support that had come out of place. Anyway, that's it. Another thing that quite often goes wrong with these, which didn't go wrong on this one, but the worm gear that you saw on that drives the rack, that drives the gears, it can come off the motor. So it's been known to slip and come off the motor shaft. So that's something else to keep in mind. That is quite a common problem on these ones. And a little bit of crazy glue on that pulley and put it back on the shaft will solve that. But this one here was tight, so it didn't come apart. Anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.